What's up, guys? Episode 2, Kobayashi Island. In this episode, we're going to do the Old Town Harbor, where before the kind of mega city that will eventually happen here, before that happened in history of this island, there would have been a fishing town where, you know, the fishermen would come in and bring their goods and sell them to the little town. So that's kind of what we're doing in this episode. You can see here I'm looking at a photo of a fishing village in Japan, kind of get an idea of how to make this breakwater, kind of set everything up for this little harbor. What I wanted to do, you know, is kind of make an area of the map where this is kind of like clearly been the oldest thing around, where kind of the grid and the roads all sort of start from here because these are the oldest roads. This is kind of like where, you know, some goods can come into the city that's not part of what's going to be like the main harbor and the main airport. So it'll kind of be like in a little auxiliary cargo depot, and where like tourists can come into the city on ferries and stuff. So right now what I'm doing is I'm using retaining walls and ploppable pavement to make this breakwater. I'm kind of basically trying to copy exactly what I pulled up in that photo from the internet. You can see me referencing it there. The reason I do that is, you know, it just like adds sort of a sense of realism rather than build something completely from my imagination. I feel like a lot of times it looks better if you're looking at something and kind of trying to do, you know, maybe your own take on it, but at least you're going for something that actually is, you know, real and would be there in real life, and you have a reference to it. So it's fun to build like that. Sometimes it's kind of a challenge, and a lot of times ends up looking better than it would otherwise. So one of the things that I want to end up doing here is making, you know, like a ferry port and kind of like a cargo port. And so the next few minutes of this time lapse kind of focus on getting the kind of like the surrounding area a little bit nicer, putting some rocks down, some plants, and getting the roads going to where they're going to connect to this cargo port that I already have planted down, and to the ferry port that I will end up planting down. I also want this to be sort of an area where we have like a little marina, some parked boats. Right now you can see I'm using these tunnel blocks, which I love. I used to use a lot of the Ronix 69 docks, but the thing about that is they're kind of small and finicky, and when you use them you also have to place down ploppable pavement because they're just sort of like retaining walls. So you have to place down sort of a flat surface in order to make them look like a quay, you know? So I like these blocks because you can really quickly and easily make, you know, like sort of like docks and quays. So yeah, you can see it's like just pretty simple. You grab a few and you place them down. This left area where this boat ramp is, I'm thinking is where the marina is going to go. You can see I'm placing down the docks for that. And I'm not really imagining there's too many boats parked here, but definitely enough where if you had a little fishing boat and you were one of the main people who worked in this area and went out and you were a fisherman, you would have to see this is where you would park your boat overnight. I guess it's a little unrealistic that I ended up having the docks be mostly full because, you know, I think it's going to be mostly daytime, and so a lot of these boats would be gone in the middle of the day, but it does look better a little full. So you can see me placing down some fishing boats. I needed to, you saw me do it a second ago, raise up the ground under the water and raise up and down the docks in order to kind of get the right water depth. It looked weird with, you know, 100-foot tall poles sticking out the bottom of these docks to reach the seabed. So I had to move that up, and then I'm just trying to get these docks kind of as close to water level as possible, because that's one of the issues I have with this game is it's very easy to make your water, your docks, and even the vanilla stuff, the vanilla ferry ports and things. It's really easy to make them super high up and not. It looks weird when, you know, there's like 200-foot pillars sticking out of these ferry ports and stuff. So I think that's a big challenge in making things look realistic is making, things that interact with the water, like actually at water height. So right now I'm kind of building out the area around the fishing marina. So this is kind of, I'd imagine, where when you have your fish and you bring them in for the day, you pull up here and you unload and you bring it into your car or your truck or whatever, and you drive off to wherever you're going to sell it. Some sheds to keep your supplies in, I'd imagine. If you're a fisherman there, you'd rent a shed. Some parked boats, for people who maybe it's an old boat, they're fixing it up or something. I think this area, I kind of go crazy with the detailing because it's one of the first areas and because I do kind of want it to be functional. So a lot of times, putting a bunch of functional buildings in an area just makes the traffic crazy. And if you kind of do it up with props and stuff instead, a lot of times it'll be easier for you in the end to be able to have like a cargo port here, because the only people, trucks and cars going here are trying to access the cargo port. So it makes it a little bit less congested. If you're just putting down some functionless props in this area, this is really just kind of like a transport. In terms of functionality, it's just a transport area. So now I'm kind of building the kind of maybe where like a larger boat would come. This is the actual functional cargo dock, is that one different looking pier. So this road that I'm building now is kind of what you're able to get, trucks would be able to get to the dock using. This is the ferry port. So this is where I'm imagining ferry ships come in, kind of trying to make it look a little bit more real. I don't know if I really do a great job here, but I spend a lot of time on these steps, that's for sure. We'll see if it ends up working out. It's kind of an experiment. What I want to do is make this ferry port basically the equivalent of what would be like a vanilla passenger dock, where the cruise ships come up, where people from out of town can come in on the ferry. And the way I'm planning on doing that, we'll see if it works, is there's some entry points to the map that aren't connected to the island. They're really far away. They're right on the edge of the map. They're really small. And it's where, in the last episode, where the freeways came in from. And I deleted the freeways, but what I'm planning on doing is putting some ferry connections on those little islands and connecting them to the freeways so that people can drive in and take the ferry to the island. I've never exactly done this, so I don't know if it's going to work, but I was just thinking it would be a lot nicer than having cruise ships pull up. I mean, I might probably will end up making a cruise port, but it just makes more sense to me in this part of the world that you would take a ferry to an island, rather than a cruise ship in terms of actual transportation. We'll see if it works connecting, these little islands on the edge of the map to the main Kobayashi Island. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to figure out a different way to get people here and to actually have this be a functioning ferry port where you can get tourists and people moving to the city to come through it. So you saw I just made the actual ferry stop. I think using that, that building is a fish market, and there's these, I was using these, I think they're vanilla props. They're shopping cart stalls. Using that as sort of like a walkway to the ferry stop. I think makes it kind of look like there's a terminal, and that's where you buy your tickets and you wait inside for your ferry to show up, and then you walk through the tunnel to get to the actual dock. And then now I'm kind of building out the more shipping centered area of the docks, where I'd imagine if these sort of larger fishing ships would come in and unload, and where kind of larger trucks would come and pick up the stuff. And this is going to be the actual functioning part of the cargo docks, where trucks will come in here and collect goods and distribute them to local businesses. I'm just kind of getting further and further along here on the length of of the docks. I don't know how much further I'm really going to go because this whole little area could stretch a little bit further. I think have some sort of industrial buildings as we get further away from the port area, and just have it kind of be more of an industrial area. And I don't know exactly how this end is going to connect up yet to the rest of the roads, but I'm thinking there's kind of an entrance by the ferry area and then an exit over here on this side of it where, you know, trucks can kind of drive through instead of having to make a U-turn. Right now I'm kind of building out this little empty space in the middle that to me seemed too small to do anything, putting in some abandoned cars and some parked cars and stuff. What I'm planning on doing next episode is sort of building out the old town part of the city and getting a train station and kind of getting a little, maybe like one or two block long strip of shops and some houses. And I was thinking, since it is the old town part of the city, I would do kind of like the old temple that, you know, has always been here and maybe at this point is now a tourist attraction, but kind of like sort of stands over the city and has the best view of everything. And I probably need to subscribe to a good asset that accomplishes that and make sure that I have something good, because I don't think I do yet in my collection for, you know, Asian buildings. I think I would probably do specific, you know, put it in the Kobayashi Island collection, but I look forward to that. It should be really fun. Till next time.